episode 23 of Let's Talk Money with Wendy Silebi. We are on part 3 of our home loans purchasing journey. Remember, I promised that we will try and do an end-to-end journey so that we can empower you with knowledge that you require if you are in the housing market, you are looking to purchase a home. We want you to know what you need to do and how to do it so that you don't make any mistakes. So today we're here at the National Housing Finance Corporation. My guest is Matthew Sidu, and he's going to empower us, including myself, on the work that they do, but specifically focusing on the first home finance linked individual subsidy, which was formerly called FLISP. Welcome, Matthew, to my podcast.
Thank you so much, Sis Wendy, and thank you very much to your viewers.
Yeah.
We can have a conversation.
Awesome. Thank you for allowing. Yeah, so I'd like for you just to introduce yourself, tell us who you are, your educational background, and anything that you are comfortable to share with us so that we can have an understanding of
Thank you very much. My name is Matthew Sidu. I'm from very far in terms of experience in the housing space. My first employer was a bank called United Bank.
You come from my era.
Yes.
Because when I started working at the PEM Building Society. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I worked there for quite a number of years, and then obviously I ended up coming to the NHFC. I'm a marketer by profession. I've been in the home loan space for more than 2-3. I'm approaching my 3rd decade.
Sure.
So I've seen a lot, but I can tell you, I continue to learn.
Yeah.
You never stop learning. There's something that you need to learn every time you are faced with a particular situation.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, maybe just as to set the scene to our conversation. I was just looking at the work that the Department of Human Settlement, is dealing with the housing backlog in South Africa, which in about 2020 reveals that about 11.4%, which is about 1.9 million households, lived in informal dwellings. Although by then the government had already built about 2.7 million low-cost houses, in an effort to bring down the numbers of people that do not have home. So, despite everything that has been done, many South Africans are still without homes, living either with family or with friends or, in informal settlements. And I think what I like about this department is that, you are in the business of ramping up delivery and assisting people access homes. And one of the ways that you have done that is coming up with the FLISP program, So maybe let's just chat about the role of the NHFC for someone that's watching that does not know why it was established, when, and for what purpose.
Yeah. The NHFC was established in 1996 with the sole purpose of delivering and empowering up-and-coming developers into the housing space. You will know that some people will prefer to start by renting before they buy a house. So we are involved in social housing, which is a rental product that is aimed at people who are earning between 3,500 up to 22,000. But also we've got private rentals where people will build buildings for rental purposes, and we've also got we assist people who are actually repurposing or revamping old buildings in Joburg for the purpose of turning it into housing space, be it rental or the sale on them. So that's what we do. We also do development finance as the NHFC. We do we assist contractors who may have being awarded tenders and they don't have the startup capital. So we do bridging finance. So we do a lot of things. What is important is that what I do in the organization, we are responsible for assisting people with the first home finance. It was known as FLISP in the olden days. So now it's first home finance. We have always done it from 2005 with the mortgage-backed instrument. So we've extended it now to the non-mortgage as well. So we'll still assist people who are buying through mortgages, but we are now in a position where we are able to assist people who are buying with non-mortgages. So they come in many forms. You find somebody that is saying, look, I live in Komkopane in Limpopo, and I qualify for first home finance. The amount that I qualify for is 169,000. And then the person will say, I don't need a loan from anybody. Just assist me to build a home for 169. We are able to assist them because it helps them. At least they don't have any mortgages or any loan that they'll be expected to pay. Some people in those in the rural market, they will say, look, I've got a personal loan. Because you will remember that in that space they don't have title to the land, so they use the permission to occupy. So you will find that one person will say, look, I've got 50,000 of my own, I saved it. I want to augment it with whatever I qualify for in terms of first home finance so that I can build a better house for my family. We allow that. And some people will say, look, I want to build incrementally. So I've got this small loan. Can you help me to build my house into a particular match? When my economic situation improves, I will then extend on my own. We will assist them. So we've seen them doing, using products such as your pension-backed loans, such as your personal loan. Very importantly, we've got community saving schemes. We know them as stokvels.
Yeah. So maybe let's just we'll get to that because I think I really want us to take it slow so that whoever is watching can think, this is me. This talks about me. So actually, I mean, as you were saying just now, I'm like, light bulb moment. So I want to just take a step back and say, okay, now this first home assist subsidy is for what we call the affordable market or the gap market.
Yes.
Who are they? Can we just define who are those people and what are some of the challenges that they face when they are looking to purchase a home?
Very important question. I think how we define them as first-time home owners or first-home builders. So they either buy or want to build. They should be earning between 3,501 rand up to 22,000. Remember, if you earn between 0 up to 3,500 to qualify for a fully subsidized house. But then the problem here is that when a person that earns 4,000 goes to us to apply for a fully subsidized house in human settlement, we tell them that, sorry, you are working. Can you now look for something that you can actually build or rent on your own? So, but those people, when they go to the financial institutions, they are also told that, look, you earn too little, you don't qualify for anything. So that is actually the gap that we are trying to build. So some of them in the urban areas, they will buy properties using mortgages. Some of them in the rural areas, they will use what we call mortgage. But how much they qualify for? Its minimum is actually 38,000. Maximum is 169,000. So it's not a loan; it's a grant. They don't have to pay it back.
So basically what you're saying is that, I mean, if I am earning 3,501 up until 22,000 rand, I'm identified as the gap market, and therefore I can approach yourselves and I will be assisted if I qualify, if I meet all the qualifying criteria that has been set, and then I will get a grant. It is not a loan. It is money that you are given so that it helps you to afford the home that you want to purchase. Now that we are here, maybe let's talk about the qualifying criteria.
Yeah.
Who qualifies besides income? Because there must be other criteria that one needs to meet in order for them. So before people get excited and say, "Oh, we saw on that podcast, let's all go, let's unpack other qualifying criteria."
Let's try and unpack it and also give hope to those who want to apply. We don't decline a lot of applications. We decline less than, it's about 7%. So we really approve most of the applications that we receive.
Yeah.
But now, who qualifies? All South African citizens qualify. But also remember, there are people who've been here for longer. They are issued with a permanent resident. As long as they've got a valid permanent resident, we will certainly assist them.
Okay.
Those people must be people who have never benefited from any government-assisted housing program, such as, I don't own an RDP, so therefore I just want to apply, then you will qualify. And also if it's a household, because we assist households, so the applicant and the spouse must be people who have never benefited from any housing government-assisted housing program. But what is important is that, remember, we can also assist somebody that is single, meaning I'm applying as Matthew Sidhu, as long as I've got a financial dependent. How do we define a financial dependent? It's somebody that is financially dependent on me, one. Number two, it's somebody that is going to live with me in the property I'm purchasing. That's why they are financially dependent on me. Obviously, if you're financial dependent, the expectation is that you don't work. That's why you are financially dependent on me. Most people would register their biological kids as financial dependent, but our situations are different. Some people will be assisting their nieces, their nephews, their brothers. It comes in many ways. So it does not necessarily mean that a financial dependent is a biological child. Yes, a biological child is financial dependent, but we actually assist even other members of the family that are actually cared for by the applicant.
Okay, so South African citizens and those that have got permanent residence in South Africa, are eligible to can apply. And what are the documents that one would ideally need to submit with the application form for them to be assessed and maybe qualify?
We obviously, maybe let's paint a picture this way. If I'm applying using a mortgage, a kind of application, what will require is just the offer to purchase, the home loan approval from the bank, the pay slip, because that helps us to determine how much a person qualifies for. We will use the ID, obviously, that of the dependent. If I'm married, I will produce a marriage certificate. If I'm divorced, there will be a decree of divorce. So basically, if you look at it from the mortgage space, it's the same documents that a person will do when they apply for a mortgage. The only difference is that we will require a financial dependent if the person is single.
Yeah.
So that's assist in the mortgages. Yeah. But with the non-mortgages, it's different. Remember, they will not have, in most cases, they won't have offer to purchase, but they will have a permission to occupy. So we'll ask for the permission to occupy, obviously their income and the other documents to make sure that we assist them to build their homes.
Okay, so, I hear you talk about the fact that if I'm single, does this mean I will only qualify if I have a dependent? If I don't have a dependent and I'm single, then I don't qualify.
You don't qualify.
But if I'm husband and wife, but we don't have children, do we qualify?
Because we are a household.
Because we are a household. Okay, I thought we must clarify that as well.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, you also said that, you know, if you want to apply for this, then you would require probably an offer to purchase, an application for it to be processed. So the one thing that I just maybe wanted to voice over is that the qualifying criteria of the financial institution that the person is applying to would still apply. So the financial institution would still do their own vetting and so on, and then you would do your own vetting. So it does not mean that if you submit all those documents, then you automatically even get a grant at the bank.
Very importantly on that, remember the financial institutions borrow you money.
Yes.
So they will run you through their credit profile and all those kind of things.
Yes.
We don't borrow you money.
Uh-huh.
So we don't worry about what ITC says on all those other credit bureaus companies.
Yeah.
We are only interested in three main things. One, we will run you via Home Affairs to make sure that the ID that you've given us is legit, the birth certificate of your child is legit. We'll also run you through Deeds Office to make sure that you've never owned a property, because this subsidy instrument is for first-time home owners. Then we'll then run you through what we call the NHSDB, National Housing Subsidy Database, just to make sure that you've never been given an RDP somewhere or you benefited from any other housing instrument. Okay. Those are the key three. And then we run it through actually 6, but the other 3 talks to mainly to government employees such as your PERSAL, your pension fund, and so forth. So the 3 main is what we check you through. Yeah. If you pass the 3, chances are you will be approved. But people should remember, this is not only for government employees. Okay. If I'm working for Checkers, if I'm working for Boxer, Pick and Pay, please, they must come in and apply. If I'm working for a mining company, they must come in and apply. Maybe how do they apply? Because that is very important. Yeah. We don't want people to be running around with documents. You know, if you give me an application with supporting documents, tomorrow I'm off sick, then you're stranded. We get lost and then you've got a problem. So we've got a portal. A portal is actually a system that we used to process the application. So you can access it sitting in the comfort of your own home. You just go to our website, you go to the First Home Finance, you pick up the portal. It gives you 2 options. One, you can apply for a pre-approval, meaning I don't know. I'm just looking for all I know, I'm looking for a property. Yeah. But I don't know how much I qualify for. Yeah. You don't need to give us any documentations. You go to our portal, click on pre-approval, it asks you 2 questions. My ID number, that of the dependent, and my salary. Right. Then tomorrow you go back, you draw your certificate, then you go and shop around. The second one is when now I've identified a stand, if I'm in the rural area, to which I want to build my house, or I've identified a property in the urban area that I want to purchase. Then you'll do the fully completed application. It will require you to attach some documents. Then we'll do. The good thing about our system is that it gives you the updates per milestone achieved on that application. So it's automated throughout. We've only got one human intervention on our system. That is when we check. Is this the ID? Is this the payslip? Is this that? Once we've gone in there, then everything go through automation up until when you get the actual outcome letter. Okay. So I want to go back to the fact that, we understand the part where a person is applying through the financial system, because then you complete the application form, and then there's always an offer to purchase or a mortgage person that's assisting you. You still input and then you get the assistance. But like you said earlier, so I am from Mututlu in Brits. Maybe I've identified a piece of land. I go to the king there or the chief, and I ask them,
if I could lease that land or use the land, and then they say, of course you can do it. So I'm building, but I'm not approaching the financial institution. When I come to yourselves, what do I do? Do I also go through that portal, and what do I need to submit?
Yeah, most people that we assist to apply, they come via, actually we encourage everyone to go via the portal, but we understand, in our environment, there are people who don't have access to computers, they don't have access to, smartphones, so basically they can't do it sitting in their own homes. So we encourage those people to phone us on our call center, which is 010-085-2199. We've got people there that speaks all South African languages. So we will take them through the system and we'll also assist them to apply. We also, if they need more information, they can call in there. We'll explain to them, this is what we mean by that, because we may not get through everything as we speak here.
I like that. I like the fact that the Department of Housing, of Human Settlement has made it possible that if I'm purchasing in the urban areas, I can receive the grant. If I'm purchasing in the rural area, where there is so much need for housing, for people to really have their own homes, I also qualify. Now, one of the things that I don't want to forget is the fact that, this grant, it is staggered, right? If I earn more money, then I get a lesser amount. If I earn less money, then the grant is a bit higher. Can we just talk a little bit about that? Because I know that people mustn't expect, one amount. Please.
No, that's very interesting. Actually, remember, it's aimed at assisting those who are poor. So if my salary is 3,600, I'll get the full maximum subsidy, which is 169,000. But if my salary is, say, 10,000, chances are you'll qualify for around 110, 120. So the more you get, the less I qualify. If my salary is 22,000, I'll probably get the minimum, which is 38,000. Maybe what is important that you need to note is, what can you do with this money? You will remember in the resale market, when people purchase properties, they struggle to raise what we call the attorney's cost. They can be 40,000 per transaction, or maybe up to 5% of that particular purchase price. Now, should they wish that we actually use their subsidy to pay for those costs, we will assist them. And the same in the rural areas. Remember, this is a subsidy. It must be enrolled with an HBRC. With that comes a number of costs, and we are willing to actually assist them to make sure that they achieve the main aim, which is actually owning a habitable home.
This is, what you've just said. I mean, in the last episode 22, we were speaking to a conveyancer and a notary. And one of the things that we were talking about was the costs that one has to pay, the transfer costs, which are very high, and the registration costs, and we were just talking around those. And I think, the gentleman that helps me with the podcast, Simlet, has just gone through that process where he had to pay these astronomical amounts, and he probably could have used the subsidy, for that. I didn't know that part, that you can even use the subsidy to help you with the transfer and the registration cost. Oh my goodness, because I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. So you've applied at the financial institution, you qualify, your loan has been approved, and voila, when you get to the transferring attorneys, they say it's 40,000, the registration is another 12,000, and now you cannot go and apply for a personal loan, because then your qualifying criteria is mixed up. So here's the subsidy if you are in this category that we are talking about.
And remember also, with the financial institutions, in the high interest rate cycle we are in, sometimes they will ask these guys to come up with deposits. we can use the subsidy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, to pay the deposit, because these days, they're no longer, it's very rare that they give 100%. They will even either give you based on your risk profile.
Yes.
They'll give you 90%. You must come up with the 10%.
Yeah.
They'll give you 80%. Oh,
and
wow.
I think our viewers must also note that we've got SLAs with all 4 major banks.
Mm-hmm.
And the others, basically we've got quite a lot of banks in South Africa.
Yeah.
And we've got SLAs with them, so they know about the product.
Yeah.
So that is why at some point they will actually refer an applicant to come and apply, which will assist.
Mm.
So even in the non-mortgages, there are a number of institutions that we finance as the NHFC. Remember, we don't on lend to the person who wants to build a house, but we've got organizations or intermediaries that we lend money to, then they in turn on lend to the men on the street. So those financial intermediaries as well, we've got MOUs with them, so we are able to assist them, because in the rural areas, people build incrementally, people don't go get the mortgages, they get other form of housing loans. So we actually assist them as well.
Okay, wow. I think that I have learned quite a lot, and I want to believe that the viewers will benefit a lot from the information that you've said. So let's just say I'm a first-time home buyer and I do fall into the gap market category, and someone is watching us and they realize, your way, I've just applied and I didn't make use of this grant, and maybe my process is towards the end, or it's just been finalized, because I'm sure there'll be those that are watching. What can they do? Is it too late? Or is there a way that they can? Maybe I'm asking.
Yeah.
I'm asking because really I think it's a good question to ask.
Let's put it this way. We've got a dual implementation mandate. So the provinces can be able to implement first home finance. They've got different rules. In KwaZulu-Natal province, KZN, they can assist you even when you bought your property from, say, around 2012 coming this way. If you go to Western Cape, they will probably assist you if it's within 6 months. So the rules differ from one province to another. At some point in Gauteng, it used to be 3 months. So, but because when we engage with people, we do pick up these problems. We, as the NHFC, has submitted a proposal to the Department of Human Settlement to give us guidance as to how can we assist people whose properties has been registered, because it was not their fault, some of them, they didn't know. So when they come here, we say, look, this is a new thing, let's do a proposal, we'll send it to the department will process and come back to us. So we're still waiting.
Yeah.
But in all the other provinces where they are able to assist them retrospectively, I would really encourage them to approach the respective provinces.
Okay, and find out. Okay, there you have it. If you have just completed the process, or it's right at the end and you realize that you qualify for this grant, then you can approach the housing, in that area and find out, how whether you still qualify or not. So it's not too late for that.
Very important, those that have bought, as long as it's not registered, please come to us. Give us all the supporting documents that you need, fully completed application form. You give it to us today, your transfer takes place tomorrow, we will still assist you. Because you applied before
the transfer.
Very
awesome. Very, 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 very important. I think I'm very comfortable in that regard.
Yeah.
Is there anything else in this part of the conversation that you believe we should be sharing with the viewers? I might not have asked the question, but you believe there's something that is very, very important that they need to know.
A lot. In the urban spaces, as we've said, that we are able to pay for their transferring attorney's cost and the registration cost. Again, we are also able to pay using the subsidy for their deposit requirements. Those that have got stands, they don't own a house, they've got a stand, will be able to assist them to build. Same, it applies in the rural areas. Those that, in the rural areas, we've got a different challenge. You'll find that there is Ntate Mama Bolo who has been building houses in the rural areas for years, but is not registered with the NHBRC, but he can do the work. So what we do is we are negotiating an MOU with the NHBRC. The idea is to group them. We are now in Edujwa, in the Eastern Cape. We've got 10 very good builders who are not registered with the NHBRC. We're negotiating an MOU with the NHBRC so that they can come down to Edujwa and train those guys and register them. The idea is that we don't want, we want to create the local economy. We don't want somebody to say, look, this one can build, but he's not registered, therefore we must get somebody from another town. That's what we're trying to do. But also with the MOU with the NHBRC, we are trying to help the unemployed graduates so that we can train them as property inspectors. So when you build a house, they will go there and check and all those things. So these are the things that we're trying to do in the rural areas to say, let's empower the unemployed graduates, but let's also empower the unregistered builders. Very importantly, remember when you build a house in the urban space, if you were to do it in the form of a building loan, the bank will pay on progress payment. You give them up to foundation level, they pay. In the rural areas, it's different because you are dealing with Ntate Mama Bolo who don't have a cent. He can't even buy the material to build the foundation. We can assist him to buy the material using the subsidy. Then he will build. Once he has put together the foundation, we'll pay them maybe say 33%
progress,
and then they go to roof level. We can buy them those materials, and then we pay for that as well until they finish, so that we don't leave them out of the system. Because otherwise, if we just say, look, we are paying in progress payment, the up and coming contractors who are doing a good job will be left out, and we don't want that.
Sure, that is awesome. And is that part of what you call the affordable housing assistance to builders? And I like the fact that you are also identifying and contributing towards the reduction of unemployment of the youth by really offering them that role of being a building inspector. A very interesting role. In my other life I was studying and I spent I think almost a year with our property evaluators, and I would go out with them to look at buildings, and it was very interesting. And even today when I walk into a space, I can see that the corner is not right and stuff like that. But what I wanted to ask is that particular program only in the rural areas for graduates, or is it also in the urban areas?
Even in the urban areas as well, because remember, our builders, they've been building for a very long time. And you find that most of them don't even know who is NHBRC. Why? Because they've been working for these big companies. Now they find themselves on their own, and they do this work, but informally. So we're saying to them, don't be afraid. Let us help you so that you got all the registration. You are able to build a structure that is acceptable, you are trained, and then we'll assist them. But remember, with the owning a house, it does not just mean I've built a house for my family. Actually, the sector, we unlock economic opportunities to a whole lot of sectors. I will buy the building material, maybe cash build, maybe Buco will benefit. There is an architect that must draw a plan for me. That's another profession. There is an attorney that will come in. But once I live in my house, I need a furniture. Now the uncle in the furniture business will probably benefit.
If he still exists.
Yes.
That uncle, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So a lot of people are, now I will buy a table, I will buy a stove, these are the things that we take it lightly.
Yeah.
I'm just buying a house. Thank you very much for me and my family.
Yeah, maybe I like that, because even when I was speaking in episode 21, when I was speaking to Tim, he also spoke about how, just purchasing a home unlocks so many other, economic opportunities for so many other people. Even building, unlocks, because there must be a plumber, there must be an electrician, etc., etc.
There is that father that is sitting there with a paint rod and say, I know how to paint. All of a sudden, you can come in now, you've got your work here. So one house, it benefits a lot of people.
A lot of people, right? Yeah. Okay, so many first-time home buyers, make a lot of mistakes because they lack a lot of knowledge and wisdom. So I'd like you to just share with them, especially as someone who's been in the home loan space for so many years, just to share some wisdom nuggets around home purchasing, what they should know and what they shouldn't do, so that we make their journey a pleasant and a successful one.
That's a very important question. In the urban spaces, if I purchase a property, let's say in Zola Township, what we take for granted is basic stuff like to look after your property. Make sure that I clean it, it's always clean, it's always painted, the wall is looked after. Those simple things, they help to raise the value of that house. Let's make an example. I'm buying this property today at 400,000. I'm using First Home Finance, I qualify for 150. All of a sudden I've got a bond of 250. Now I try and pay it off. Say in year 10, I now struggle. Maybe I've lost my job with those kind of things. If you look after your property, just the basic things, it looks nicer. You will speak to your bank, because people tend to run away, they tend to hide, and they get into trouble. And the best thing is to speak to your bank and say, look, I'm no longer working. However, let's look at my property. The banks, all of them, they can actually help you to say, let's look at the value. Maybe the value after 10 years has doubled. It's now 800,000. You are owing 100,000. So they will say to you, look, here's an opportunity. You can sell for 800,000, you get 700,000 cash to you, you can start somewhere on your own. These are things that people are not aware. But obviously, when you sit down with them, we always say to them, look, when you lose your job, what do you want to save? Maybe let's not save these cars that you're driving. I've got a family, I've got kids. Maybe I want to save my house. So how much do I have? I may have more or less what is the balance on my home loan, and I pay it off. And I tell my bank, look guys, I'm not running away because I want to pay it sooner, but I've got a problem. And the bank will help you. They will not charge you a lot of penalties, because they understand your problem. Remember, the banks are not in the business of owning houses. They also don't want to keep your house. So they will look at ways in which they can assist you so that you save it. That is now in the urban area. But then emakhaya, it's easier, because we also assist people there to say, guys, look after your homes, make sure that you comply. If you build a house, make sure that it's registered with the HBRC and those kind of things, because they also help them again. All of a sudden, they've got a property that has got value, they've got a property. The nice thing with them is that they don't take up home loans. So they take any other forms of loans. So if I lose my job, I go to somebody who borrowed me money. Let's talk. I've got a problem, but I can give you so much. These financial institutions does actually help people. I think we don't have to run away. Let's just talk to them and have a conversation and see what they can do for us.
Yeah. I love how in this episode and the last episode, the same, wisdom has been shared, because in the last episode, we also spoke about the fact that when our financial situation changes, we hold on and hold on until it's too late.
It's too late.
And then we lose the property, we lose everything. We are even listed on the credit bureaus, and when things get better, because it always gets better, it gets worse and it gets better. Things go up and down. But when you see that things are getting tough, sell the property. Sell it for a profit because it is an asset, it appreciates in value. Sell it, pay off the bond, especially in the example that you've given, and then start over again. Things will get better. And I always say, and I agree with you, that a car is not an asset. You know, you can always buy another car. But a home, you know, it features right there at the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It is a basic need. We all need shelter. So let's look after our homes. Let's protect them. It's not a shame if you have lost your job and things are not doing well. Protect that home by making sure that you salvage something. You've been paying it for 15 years. 15 years. Yeah. Why should you lose it? Yeah. So, thank you.
We are here to help them. And also, I think they need to note, you know, let's avoid this unnecessary debt.
Yeah.
You know, I have a credit card. You know, you go and incur debts because today is my birthday. I want to buy this massive cake. On credit for 400 rand, but I also want to do, you know, so many things on my birthday. You know, you consume it one day today. You must pay it over a year. Those are debts that maybe are unnecessary. If I don't have money on my birthday, I must just go to, you know, buy 100 rand cake.
Yeah.
Enjoy, I bought it cash. You know, those are simple things that you take for granted, and you end up getting into trouble for them.
I really like what you've said. You've shared a lot of wisdom nuggets, and one of the things that, you know, we talk about is that plan. You know, it's important that you plan. If you know your birthday is coming up in Jan, between now and Jan, plan well, rather than incur debts for a day and then you are paying them for much later.
You want to go to Cape Town, you use your credit card, you paid for a year.
And you paid 21 to 27.
Did you really need to go to Cape Town?
Yeah. Okay. No, Matthew, thank you so much. We've come to the end of the conversation, and I really would like to thank you for the wisdom nuggets that you have shared with us today. And I think you've shared the number with us. I'd like for you just to share it again. If people want to contact, you know, a person that they want to talk to, you know, these days not everybody is into the digital world. We still want to speak to a human person on the other side. Maybe just share the number again.
The number is 010 085 2199. If you are a counselor out there, if you are a priest out there, you want us to come and speak to your church, you want to come us to come and speak to your community, we are just a phone call away. Call us, we'll go down in all provinces of South Africa, because we really want to create this awareness, and we are so grateful to have the platform today that you can speak to you guys. We are really here to assist you. I may be lucky to own a house, but I'm really keen on assisting the next person who would really can benefit out of this subsidy instrument, so that they can also own their own homes.
Wow, thank you. There you have it, South Africa and the world. If you are here, you can approach them and you can receive that subsidy. For today, we are done. Until next time, and I hope that, you know, the wisdom nuggets that you've shared with our viewers, they will put into practice so that they can also access this home that they so need. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks to everybody.
Yeah.